Mrs. Pigsy. It's past Christmas now, so I can't really say Merry Christmas. However, it's Christmas in other places in the world, different times. So maybe it's Boxing Day somewhere else or whatever. Things to do. So it's been quite productive Christmas, the festive period. There's been a few little things. I think everything's on the up really. If this 2020 is going to be quite a good year, I believe. I can feel this kind of ascension wave. So on the spiritual stuff, there's heavy progression there. I'm going to start looking at something, and I'll get on contact with this other spiritual leader. I'll drop him a line, and it's to do with this yoga. So heartful yoga. So mindful yoga uses your third eye, and the spiritual side of relaxation and other things that are in tune with your mind. Now, Heartfulness deals with your empathy, this connection here you have with people around you, and there's a lot of different qualities deeper in there. So it's about you sense in others, if you change spiritually, because your body, right, so your spirit and your body, so your body is the vessel, the vehicle, but it's also more than that. I mean, it's kind of looking at a kind of dissecting it into a kind of science of some sort. You know, your body's like a machine, and you're the pilot. Your spirit's the pilot of this, or the energy, the energetic force behind it. So your spirit, and you're fused into between two different dimensions, I guess. But what happens, because your body was created through your parents, and there's other bodies of a similar wave frequency, when you improve yourself, it has an impact on them. In the same way, they say if somebody meditates in an area, they change the frequency around them as well. So they had a group, I mean, whether it's true or not, I don't know. They had a group in, say, an area where there's a lot of crime, and they noticed that the crime dropped near to where people were meditating on a regular basis, meditation centre. And so there's other talk as well, stuff I've read, that they might create a room specially for meditation. The reverse of that is you want to get the highest results from it. Stay there. So for me, I've figured out this technique. I'm aware of something. I guess it's a bit like heartburn, but you can feel the pressure. So you feel the pressure of it switching on. So I can feel the pressure in my third eye. I think originally what I had was like felt like a pulse there or something. So I felt some sort of activation, and now I have this sensation. I'm able to shift that focus, and that's what it is. It's your consciousness. It's where your spirit is focused on. And so I move that to the heart, and then it's kind of like it's switching on the lights there. So it slowly builds up. It's very subtle, but it builds up over time. And so what you need to do, like if you went to the gym, for a genesis, you need to put enough time into it. You know, you could go to the gym and lift a heavy weight once a day, and it would have absolutely no impact on you. But if you took all that weight in one go and did it a week's work in one day, your body would take so many days to recover from it. It's just you've taken it beyond a threshold. So if you don't go beyond the threshold, you won't achieve the next level of development. So I'll work more on my heart, but now I'm also looking at the gut, because they talk about the gut being brain. So the heart's got it's got neurons in it, so it's an intelligent system, and there is intelligent systems throughout the body which contribute to your own consciousness. They're the feedback loop, and they have also other resources in there to tap in, like I mentioned about empathy. If you can control how you feel, you can control your stress levels, and you can switch them on and off and stuff. Or you can clear it. You can become more sensitive as well. There's pros and cons to, you know, if you start opening up your emotional side, because some people are used to cutting it off. There's something they call Tarmic mind or something. I think it's like a warrior mind you can develop. So there's different ways of dealing with that. Sometimes what you eat affects that. So that comes back to the stomach. So I'm going to start working on meditating on the stomach, but I'm going to need to fast it because food influences your thinking as well. So this is the other mastery, is understanding how food affects you. Maybe you can influence the food, maybe you can influence the gut bacteria. I think also people talk about a gut feeling, so it's instinct. So you'll develop a more better cunning sense of understanding, I guess. Empathy, you can feel how someone is and understand them, but also you can influence them as well. So these are higher techniques. So the level 1 might be your own internal, level 2 is external. So there's the what would be considered the more the psychic, I guess, the external influence. If you can affect someone's thinking and that sort of thing, which happens. I mean, if you're in a room and you're all trying to think about some ideas, you think about it and you might think, how do I express that? And then someone else says exactly what you were thinking. It's almost like you lent your thoughts to somebody else to communicate. And that's this collective thinking. And you get some of it comes from the heart as well. It's like the heart transmits a lot of emotional energy. It produces a powerful field around your body. But equally the gut, I think it is the root system. So if you were like a plant, it roots you to the earth. So it's got a bit more, your vitality comes from your gut. So if you improve that relationship, you improve the being as well. Because a lot of people don't get ill until they get issues with their gut bacteria, autoimmune problems, other things. And it's possibly because they've gone through a lot of emotional states, that it's affected their gastric functions, they've lost some of their gut flora from their diet patterns, eating behaviour, whatever else has been going on. And an emotional impact, maybe the emotions, as it's tapped into the nerves, have been heavily influenced by, let's go a quicker route. Sometimes the main routes are not all the quickest routes. So I am the founder of Gutfulness yoga. And that's really what I'm going to be looking at, understanding what's known about the gut from the past. Look at the pressure points there. It's basically just an evolution in essence of rediscovering mystical science. And so the basic science is the neuroscience. If you concentrate and focus on something, connecting with it, you'll build a kind of synergy with it, and as a result you improve the neurofunction, and the health of it becomes better adapted to your nervous system, because you've got a nervous system you control, you've got a nervous system that you can influence, and it's the autopilot. Now, the stomach definitely will be in the reptilian part of the brain. This is why you feel fear or nervousness and so on. Think anxiety. There's things that you feel in the stomach. I know, for instance, the liver can be something where you get a lot of rage and stuff like that. So there's a lot of energy can be released there. But it's not really being mastered. And one way I was looking at it is mastering emotion, but actually it could be the connecting to the actual organ. And if you've got some problem, health problem, just meditating constantly on that and trying to build a stronger relationship with that organ could make a massive difference. Because you don't want things to go off and do their own thing. And this is where people have these types of cancer where they've lost control over their resources, and they become quite toxic, or whatever's caused it, triggered it. It could be a virus or something. Could be something DNA damage. Could be that there's an inflammatory allergic reaction to something that you're taking. And same with food. When you're eating food, you should be sensing what it is. People have autoimmune problems. Their body's overreacting to things they shouldn't do, and that could be because if there's a particular dominant bacteria in your stomach that has a reaction to the peanut, it's going to have an effect on you, because it's using you as like a parasitic relationship when it should be more symbiotic. So it's causing you inflammation because it's suffering from inflammation. So it's this kind of passing the buck of I don't know, discomfort to a degree. So that would be an interesting, and the fasting. So for my system, you would need to do fasting to reset your gut, and then you would need to meditate at least half an hour a session. That's what you're doing for the Heartful, and so half an hour to an hour on your stomach. And the idea is you want to be drawing energy in through your legs into your stomach. And the point you feel, it's where your diaphragm is. It seems to be, I was sensing where it was. That seems to be an activation point, that big muscle, because you've got like a knot about here. So focus on that. I think that webs sort of, the neurons will web downwards. There's other points there, but that's kind of the first point. So the mindfulness one is you kind of sense here, and then you go for your heartfulness and you get some kind of clarity. If your mind's full of lots of busyness, if you're thinking of lots of things, then you need to master your mindfulness. And if you're having emotional stuff, a lot of emotional trauma, or things are upsetting you, or your moods are swinging and things like that, heartfulness, you just want to get that mood control. And it's not to think about the mood, it's to think about no mood at all. It's the ultimate Buddhist state. It's the absence. You're not necessarily abstaining. You're totally neutral and empty of it. And that's what was happening with the heartfulness. I was thinking about the heart, and I was having, when I used the mindfulness to connect into the heartfulness, I was visualising the heart and the energy around the heart, and I was working on that. And then it went to the point where it's going to the feeling, and now it's just the feeling. So I'm just keeping my mind fairly blank. I can feed my heart with energy if I want, but then I'm activating both chakra points. So I've got the third eye activation here. There's other points as well. There's a clairaudible part in the brain, but you get feedback into your head of sounds and things. You might think you're losing your mind slightly if you're getting sort of audio feedback from stuff. So it's kind of like the radio part of it. It's a higher function. I mean, I haven't utilised it all, or hardly anything really. I mean, I've just encountered that there's something, I found something tangible, it's real. There's something there. I mean, not unless I've got these some sort of nodes or something developed here that shouldn't be there. But I'm getting this, like I say, it's like a pressure, a little bit like heartburn, and that's quite interesting as well. Because when people have heartburn, why do they feel from the stomach? Why do they feel it in their chest? So it's like something's like a feedback. The feedback's gone to here. It needs to be resolved, whatever issue's there. Okay. Lots of stuff going on, police. Well, Boxing Day, usually domestic violence goes through the roof. I think it may drop. It drops Christmas Eve, and then it goes through the roof, and then possibly it's higher because people will be drinking. So what people do, abstain from drinking and stuff around the festive if they're volatile psychologically. See where he's going. Okay. More police. So yeah, it's deeper connection to the guts. Now I've had perfect time to hack is when you've got a problem. So for me, with the Heartful stuff, I went through some bit of heartbreak, and that gave me the incentive to look at healing emotionally. But it's opened me up to much bigger things, because I was having neurological impact of the heartfulness, of the heartbreak. I was feeling pains in my body, and that was these nerve points that were overcharged basically. Or I don't normally use them, and suddenly I'm putting lots of emotional energy into them. And then I also had some stuff to do with IBS that could have led into Crohn's. Fasting's helped me deal with that. Now I need to take that to the next level. What's beyond fasting? Can I access the stomach? If you can control your anxiety and emotions and moods, and also you understand your food, or you can influence it. So you can eat things pretty much what other people might not be able to eat because you've built up a better relationship. It's yours. And also, what higher levels exist? Like, is there sort of energy, um, and other things like vitality? If you get just loads of energy because you can access it, you can switch it on. That would be interesting. So yeah, so I declare myself as the founder of Gutfulness, because I see it as a part of the continuation of spiritual development, or I'm the rediscoverer of something, or whatever. But yeah, the only reason I'm saying that is because at least if I'm looking and researching something, I won't have somebody else saying, "Oh yeah, they are," and then they mix up other things into it. I try to keep it just about the kind of esoteric science of self-development, not going to throw massive chunks of religion at it. It's a bit like meditation. You don't have to meditate on anything, but you can. I mean, there's religious forms of meditation as well, if you want to do that, for whatever your faith is. And also, you don't need to have any faith. It's always a complicated. Okay. If someone's an atheist, I mean, all it is that they're not choosing to have faith in a spiritual being. They're usually open to proof, or that they've looked for it and they found there's no logical reason in their mindset, and so therefore they disbelieve it even exists, and that's their choice. That's fine. But what they can't do is there's the other cults and religious practices of science. Now it's philosophy, theory, and there's some of it in there, and a lot of it is what you can practice and demonstrate. And then the only true element of science the only true science is maths. So you've got pure data and information, and then you're demonstrating that because of this. But there's usually you're wired in your belief. There's got to be a reason why you're looking for something initially, or believe something. And then sometimes you get people where it's become a religion, is where they have counter information but they choose to ignore it. People say, oh, evolution. But if anything comes out that doesn't add up, they just ignore it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right. So there we go. That's that. Anything else to talk about? Not really. You've just got to be careful in this festive period. I'll probably start a bit more stricter fasting for January. I might do something where I have fruit one day, meat one day, fruit one day, meat one day, and then that'll be a pattern, and see what kind of impact it has on my weight and health. So yeah, take care and have a good one. Bye.